This is how you mark down the important words in the questions. So I've got my reading and my test side by side on my computer screen. And so this would be number 1. So I'm going to write number 1 on my paper. And this says, according to the passage, what was Thomas most curious about? Thomas most. That's a big important word. Curious. So those are some big words that stood out to me. Okay. Thomas most curious about, let's see, is there anything else? According to the passage, well, I'm just going to say everything should be according to the passage. So I think I'm good for mark the most important stuff. So now we're on to explain why each answer choice is right or wrong. And that could include, all you have to do is in at least one word. It could include crossing out the words that are making it wrong, or it could include writing down words that make it correct, or any other words that come to your mind that rationalize, that justify why one choice is better than another. I'm going to go back to there we go. Okay. So we've got, when you're doing this, you want to go ahead and put A, B, C, D, as if there were actual letters there. According to the passage, what was Thomas most curious about? Well, in this passage, we know that Thomas was most curious about electricity and creating a light bulb. But electricity. Engines, that was Henry Ford. So I'm just going to write Henry. And I like to put a big X next to it. Electricity. Yeah, that's what he liked. He liked lights, like light bulbs. Chemistry. No, not chemistry. He liked electricity. Light bulbs. Ooh. He was most curious. Now you want to go through your reading. What was he? So this is Thomas. He dreamed of gadgets. Oh, and his own inventions, electric gadgets to make life easier. He designed an electric pen. Oh, and you know what? If you look through this text, you find more references to his love of electricity. So electricity more. So he's more curious about electricity. So that one makes that wrong. It looks like we are going to choose that one. We can always erase if we're wrong. But this is how you write down, you explain how each answer is right or wrong. Now, there are lots of different ways to do this. You could write a lot more, but you don't have to. Now we need to cite our text evidence. So we've decided we like answer B, but how are we going to prove it? How are we going to prove to ourselves that we've actually chosen the right answer? If we're doing paragraphs like our story, you just want to cite the paragraph number. And you could even cite the line of text within that paragraph. For poems, you're going to cite the line number. And optional, you can also cite the stanza number. What if you're doing two texts, like let's say we were doing this Henry Ford and Thomas story, and we paired it with a poem? We'd have to cite both texts if our question was asking about both texts. I'm going to get out of this window. I'm going to pop up this one. I'm going to pop up this one. All right. So we know that one place that we can reference for why he liked electricity most, why he liked electricity the most of all of our options is we had on paragraph 14. Oh, you can't see that. Paragraph 14. You could also put down the page number, but paragraph 14 is fine. For a page number, you could put down page 23. Now, on a standardized test like the STAR, you're definitely going to want to just do the paragraph number. Now, how do you do the word paragraph in a quick way? You write a P backwards. You draw an extra line through it like it's money. Paragraph 14. That's where you found this answer. So this is called citing, where we've seen this answer. So we're not just making it up. We have proof. We're citing paragraph 14 as our text evidence for why we're choosing electricity as the thing that Thomas Edison's the most curious about. Now we need to go back and we have to figure out how to check our answers. So I'm going to read the question that was on the test. According to the passage, what was Thomas most curious about? And I see Thomas. If it had said Henry, and I just realized now that, oh my gosh, it was talking about Thomas and not Henry, and I had circled A, then this is your chance to change it. But luckily, we did read correctly the first time, and we wrote down the name as one of our important clue words for the question. So, according to the passage, what was Thomas most curious about? All right. Engines, no, that was Henry Ford. Electricity, yes, he liked to build electric gadgets. Chemistry, no, he did not put different chemicals together, although he may have been really interested in that. Light bulbs. I think it seems like he was only interested in light bulbs because electricity could travel through them and make the teeny tiny filament inside glow because it had so much energy. So electricity. I see we wrote Henry. We got rid of chemistry and wrote down electricity. We wrote electricity more. And then we found this in paragraph 14. It's all looking good. I'm going to put a big check. Woo! All right. And now I can move on to number 2. So when I select the answer, I'm going to press next. And then we're not supposed to go back to the last one. I know I can. You may not be able to. If you are, I think that's fabulous. But if you aren't, you have to make sure you check beforehand. It also saves you time in the end. If you've got a bubble sheet and you're supposed to bubble in A, B, C, or D, this is the time you can go ahead and bubble and check your bubble at the same time too. So you've checked your answer. And then let's say you go over, you bubble B, and you're like, okay, B. Oh, that's correct. I did indeed bubble the correct one. I didn't make a mistake. Now you can put another check because you've already checked your bubble sheet. Now, for the online ed tests, for the anthology tests, you don't have a bubble sheet, so don't worry about that. That's just when you would do that strategy in a bubble sheet situation.